Looking for product market fit is like dating. But in order to make your minimum adoptable prototype work, you need to be really clear what your risks are because every new potential product has different risks. Usually there's a desirability component, there's a behavioral component. Do people actually want this? Oh, there's an impact component. Is it impactful to them? Will they actually adopt it over time? There's a positioning and understanding component. How do they understand what it does? Are they able to see the value of it? And often it's that existential question that really combines features and positioning that is the heart of adoptability. What we've arrived on after a couple decades of testing MVPs in a post MVP world is that most people I know feel really disempowered about the existential question. They feel like that core risk at the heart of will my product work or not is the risk that's eating at their stomach at night. And there's this culture that part of being a successful founder or part of a successful design team is living with that core existential question and doing all of this creative work and development work and design work and marketing and growth work until your product has reached a stage in which the question goes away. And then you don't feel bad about it anymore. But actually, we can surface it instantly and solve it instantly. It's not the last thing that you solve as a founder. It's the first thing that you solve as a founder. It's so if you're in a relationship with your significant other and lately they've been doing something that really bothers you and it's kind of awkward to talk about it. So you kind of swallow it the first 100 times, but it's become this growing like point of stressor between the two of you. And it starts to feel like the elephant in the room and little tensions come off of it. The healthy thing to do is not to go do everything else in your relationship well until that problem goes away. The healthy thing to do is to sit them down, create time for it, create a moment of mutual trust and intimacy, and surface it immediately as early as you possibly can when you notice it. You instantly bring up that knot, you unravel the knot, and then the rest of the relationship becomes much easier. And if you feel like you can't do that, then A, you should either get better at it, or B, you're not with the right partner. And actually, this is exactly how minimum unviable products work because you have this gnawing question of, is this even adoptable? Is this even sellable? Is this even good enough? So you sit your user down one-on-one, you create a safe container to talk about nothing but that, and you present them with the messiest, hardest to talk about, riskiest parts of your design. And you're like, hey, this is what I got. And, I just really want to know what it's like for you. And then the user responds to it in a like authentic way. And you're building that intimacy with your user. So the user responds to it in this authentic way. And you're like, oh, I see your point of view now. What if I change some of this other stuff that I can change? How would that affect you? And then suddenly you're starting to get mutual chemistry again, back and forth as you guys are iterating the design in response to what they're saying. And you're very actively listening to them, adjusting it within the range of adjustments you can make. Just like in a relationship, you don't give or promise something that does not feel sustainable for you. You go back and forth until you feel like you're on the same page and you get this come forward moment from both of you. And that is your product plus positioning. That is your V1. And that becomes the foundation of a wonderful, sustainable, caring, positive, long-term relationship between you and your user, just like between you and your partner. And if you do your best and you don't get that, then you are not the right match for each other. But you have also learned some things about why you are not the right match for each other. It's not just yes or no. You've learned this is not your target user because they have a different category of problem, or this is your target user, but you're unable to deliver on what they want, or you've learned that they want these other things and you have to go talk to your team to figure out whether that is something that you want to be doing. Whatever it is, you've learned what could work for them in the most ideal case, and you've learned whether you will potentially have chemistry in the future or not, or whether you should part ways and go date a different type of user. Looking for product market fit is like dating. You're trying to test if there is the possibility of a relationship between you and your customer, and if so, what the terms of that relationship are and what the relationship looks like. It's one thing to have a whirlwind romance with someone because you're both really hot and attracted to each other. And that's what the shiny, beautifully designed, heavily marketed new products are. But it's another to have a deep, sustainable, decades long-term connection that is exactly what you need to nourish each other. It doesn't hurt when you're dating to be flashy and hot. If you're flashy and hot, then you do attract more people, and it is easier for people to digest your product and to try it out. But it's not the same as being the right long-term match for the user. And it helps, but it's not necessary and it's not sufficient. It's just really convenient. It's important to invest in gorgeous, perfect design and really great brand presence. But at the end of the day, all of that just attracts somebody to spend some time with you. But if they stick with you and continue to spend their time with you over and over again over the months or even years, then that requires real value in their lives.